Good morning. All right. So we have our very first Saturday Q&A with NLA. Too much, maybe? No? It is 8 a.m. here in Kansas City, Missouri. We are in the Central Time Zone, so we have clients in New York and Florida, where it is 9 a.m. at the moment. And we have clients in Colorado, where it is currently 7 a.m. And over in California, it is 6 a.m. So not sure if we will be having anyone in those areas join us this morning or not. But I know you hard workers are out there still getting up early, putting in the time, even on Saturday morning. So I thought you might as well be hanging out with us and asking your questions to help grow your business. So our mission at New Life Accounting is to help guide and educate the business owner to reach their financial goals. And we do a lot of that through our outsourced CFO services, strategic planning, but also just our one-on-one communications and conversations with business owners. We focused solely in the construction industry to begin with, and we have now branched into manufacturing and starting a division of manufacturing. We also have a few other clients in different industries as well. So really focusing on those business owners and helping them get to their financial goals, whatever those may be. So one way I thought we could really do that and make an impact was having these live Q&A calls. And so today's our first one. We might not have anyone show up live and ask questions, and that is okay. It takes time when you're starting out something new. So remember that too as a business owner. As you're getting started in your business, it takes time. It takes time to build your client base and your contacts and your audience. So I have a few questions that I get from time to time that I will share with you today. And it takes consistency. So we will be doing this the fourth Saturday of every month, same time. So in all the time zones, it would be 9 a.m., 8 a.m., 7 a.m., and 6 a.m. And you can come and bring your questions. And I do not know everything, so I can't guarantee that I will be able to answer every single question live on this chat, but I will do my best. And if I don't know the answer, I will go research and still bring it to you later after the call is done. All right, so yeah, if you just want to share your question, and if we don't have any, I can get started with, an area that the construction industry faces is labor, and I don't think it's necessarily just the construction industry. I think many industries face this challenge, and it's hiring and retaining employees. So if you're a union contractor, you have the help with the union hall, but you still want to retain those really good employees. So I think that while hiring and finding the right people can be extremely difficult and time consuming, if you have a good process down, it helps. So putting in the time up front to make sure that your process is good and solid and consistent is going to help you with that hiring process. And then treating your employees well to retain them. So are you overworking them? I had a guy talk to me about, well, my employees aren't putting more than 40 hours in a week. Should I be rinsing them out? Do not expect your employees to put in more than 40 hours unless you're going to pay them for it. And then the expectations need to be set up front. So if you are hiring an employee and you know that there's going to be overtime, make sure that that is communicated up front. Make sure that you are paying them for that time. And they are not an owner in the business. So they are not going to sacrifice that additional time for you without additional compensation. I also think bringing in your employees, no matter what level they are in, to the company's vision, the future, the goals that are for the company, getting them excited about all that the company is doing and how impactful their job is within your organization. So if you have somebody out in the field working in construction, I still think that they need to know where the future of the company is going and how well the company is doing and how much of an impact that they have. If you can get this piece done in this amount of time, if we can turn this much profit on this job, this is what that will do for the company. This is what that will do for you. Letting them know that and bringing them in to the excitement of this growing organization. And I said that with the construction individual out in the field. If you have somebody on a line in manufacturing, they need to be working quickly to let the process move on to the next person. Having those goals in place, letting them know the impact that they're having, letting them see where the company's going and why it's so exciting to work for this business. That's going to be a key for retaining those employees. And then when they do a good job for you, when they are making you money and helping grow your business, reward them for that. So shell out some gift cards. It doesn't have to be much. Send out a bonus here and there. If their kids are sick, and it's true, and care about their family. I think those are really big pieces of retaining employees and figuring out what it is that they really want and what motivates them. So yes, while the hiring process is difficult, especially in some of those lower paying positions, it can be difficult to keep people on, to find reliable people. But when you do find those reliable people, reward them greatly so that they stay with you and you don't have to keep finding new people after that. So that would be my advice on the labor piece. I've heard comments about, why should I do forecasting? This world is crazy, things go up and down. Look at COVID. How are we supposed to predict something like COVID? I can't predict what jobs I'm going to have in the future. Forecasting is just pointless. It makes no sense. So I want to give you my take on forecasting. I think it's just like starting a business. It's just like anything else that you are new at. It takes practice and it takes time to get it right. So you've got to start somewhere. Your first forecast, your first projections might be a complete crapshoot. I mean, they might be completely awful. But as you continue to do them, as you continue to look at the results, as you continue to really analyze what your business is doing and seeing where it's going to get better and better and better. You're going to get closer to actually being able to predict what your business is doing. And yeah, you're not going to be able to predict something like COVID specifically. I mean, some people did. Some people knew it was coming. They talked about it in their speeches 5 years ago. But to get it to the pinpoint of, you do not know when there's something like COVID going to hit. And so being as most prepared as you can for that is going to be key. Understanding, so on the construction side, cash is huge. Your labor's large. It gets paid out every week. You don't get paid from customers for 60 plus days. Materials have to be paid for within 30 days. So cash is a big deal in the construction industry. And if you can go through and forecast and see where your cash is going to be at, that's going to be a big deal for you. It's going to tell you, okay, yes, I can bid on this $8 million job. Yes, I can handle that labor payout. I can handle the materials that are going to come in for that, all the costs that come up front, or no, I can't. The minute that we take on a larger job, my cash sinks and the business is in trouble. So being able to see those things ahead of time, understanding where your sales need to be at and how to push your sales staff. So if you are, we have a client that does solid surfaces and we're working through their commissions at the moment. So they're talking about how they're compensating their sales staff. Well, by putting together this forecast and figuring out where we're going to be at, and we can see where we expect to be at, but then if we're looking at those goals in the future, we can say, this is what we need to do to reach those goals. So our sales need to increase by 5%, or whatever that may be. We need to be collecting our revenues quicker so that we can have this much cash in the bank. So you can push your sales team a little bit more. See if you have some room for additional compensation with that as well, and get those drivers in line where you need them to be to get to those goals in the future. That is the power of forecasting. It is helping you drive your business so that you are in control and your business isn't driving you. You're not reacting. You're being proactive. And again, you're driving your business to where you want it to go. So that's a huge area, and why we like to focus on that forecasting tool. And when I hear that, which I hear often about, you can't forecast this, you can't do it. My goal is not to be dead on. My goal is not to be 100% all the time, but it is to help drive the business to reach their goals in the timeline that they want to reach them. That's the goal there. I had a question this week too about hiring kids. So that's been a strategy used in businesses for quite a while now. So kind of an overview. You can hire a minor child, and if they are working directly for the parents, so mom and dad, guardian, if they are working directly for the parents, the Department of Labor regulations don't apply. So they don't have to be a certain age. But what you have to be careful with is that the responsibilities that you are giving that child, that minor child, fall in line with what they can do. They're reasonable. Their pay is reasonable. So I have 3 little ones and a teenager. So my teenager can definitely do a lot more than my 4-year-old could do, or my 6-year-old could do. But my 6-year-old, so some of the tasks that my 6-year-old could do, she could shred documents for me. If I had a paper filing system, she could file for me. She could sort documents alphabetically. She could scan documents for me at the scanner. If I was sending out a bunch of mail or mailers, she could put stamps on for me. So there are things that your minor children could do. Now, my 16-year-old, on the other hand, could do a lot more. She could help me with marketing. She could help me with bookkeeping tasks. So a lot higher level tasks my 16-year-old could do than my 6-year-old. And then you need to pay them a reasonable wage. So you're not paying your 6-year-old $100 an hour to file papers. So just be mindful of that. There's also a few other regulations in there as well. So it needs to be paid through a sole proprietorship or a spousal partnership to the child directly. So it cannot go into mom and dad's bank account. It can't go into another company's bank account. It needs to be paid to the child directly. So what some people do is they set up a separate organization, a separate sole proprietorship or a spousal partnership. If you have an S Corp, for example, that S Corp would pay the partnership or sole proprietorship a management fee of some sort, and then that company then could pay the minor child directly through an account that is set up in that child's name. So that is another benefit. There's a lot of benefits to doing that as well. So if you had any additional questions on that, we could go through that. Yeah, so that's all the questions I have for today. If there's anything that you want to ask about or know about, you can email them, and I would be happy to look those over and answer them for the next call. So it's Jessica K at newlifekc.com, and that is life with a Y. So NEWLYFEKC.com. So you can email your questions that way if you'd like. If you want to hop on our next call and ask them live, our next call will be August 22nd and same times. So East Coast would be 9 a.m., Central 8 a.m., Mountain Time is 7, and Pacific is 6 a.m. So I'm getting really good at all the time zones with the various clients that we have across the U.S. So yeah, that kind of wraps it up for us today. We're on with live videos throughout the week. We share content on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram. So any of those platforms you want to check out. And thanks for joining us. Talk to you soon.